Alright, well after watching this movie, I thought that I'd practice my powers of mysticism, so let's see if I can... What was that? It's laser time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review a black and white movies and comics too. Let's start and watch the Hello everybody, how's it going? I'm LazerDude99. Welcome to another Laser Dude review. This time we are reviewing Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange is the last superhero movie to come out this year. It is, of course, based on the Marvel superhero of the same name, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. The story of Doctor Strange goes like this. We got this guy by the name of Dr. Stephen Strange. He is a surgeon, a very talented surgeon, but he's less all about, helping people because, he likes to help people, and more about he's doing it because he's full of himself and he likes to show off and he's just a jerk. So he's a perfect role for Benedict Cumberbatch. Not saying the guy's a jerk, I'm just saying he likes to play a lot of jerks. Anyway, one day he gets into a car accident and he finds himself in a bad position where he can't use his hands. His hands are always shaking and he can't use them for surgery, so now he feels like he's lost his entire will to live and his entire reason for living, and he's, gone mostly bankrupt to try to find every cure of every way possible. Nothing works until he finds himself into the home of the Ancient One, played by Tilda Swinton. When there, she tells him about all the wonders of magic, and at first he doesn't believe, but then he's given a head trip that's gonna make him hard to doubt that. And he's now obsessed and wants to know more about how to do this magic stuff. But while during this, of course, there's an evil sorcerer who's trying to use these spells to bring back this evil, ginormous, Galactus in a Cloud-like, but not fully, thing called Dormammu. That character in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The most terrifying thing in all of the magic worlds can be beaten by Rocket Raccoon in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I think that's funny. Anyway, this movie is pretty by the numbers for Marvel, and I don't mean that it's a by the numbers story and everything. I'm it has all of Marvel movies' strengths and all of their weaknesses. Captain America the Winter Soldier had all the strengths and none of the regular weaknesses. Even the villains were more entertaining. But this one has all the same things that we've been praising and struggling with the Marvel movies. It's so strange how all of them are following a very similar formula set up by Iron Man, and not necessarily in the way it tells the story, but in the way that the stuff we enjoy the same things, and the stuff that we don't like or think needs improving still needs improving on. Well, I don't want to be vague, so let me tell you what I mean. Okay, we got Doctor Strange as the main character, which is great. These movies, all these Marvel movies have great main characters. He is a little bit of a jerk, but he's also very likable. They really have that sort of Tony Stark-esque thing down. But he's kind of, in a little bit ways, more likable than Tony Stark was in the beginning, because even though he's a jerk who's full of himself and whatnot, he's at least saving people's lives instead of destroying them. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Doctor Strange very well. He plays him as a man who's only been obsessed with this one thing, and this one thing is the only thing that mattered to his life, and then it's taken away, and he has no idea what to do in his life, and is doing everything he can to get it back, but in the end finds another purpose. Benedict Cumberbatch is a great actor, and I'm really happy that he's gotten into this role, because he brings a real dignity and intelligence to his character that he can pull off really easily, especially since if you've seen Sherlock, you can just tell that that type of mannerisms come really naturally to him. But I also like how he can play into the humor. When Stephen Strange is going through some weird stuff and some intense stuff at the beginning and he doesn't really know how to do magic, he's able to play up the humor and give the laughs, and there's a couple of really funny moments in this film. There's nothing like Hulk smashing Loki necessarily for humor-wise, or Hulk punching Thor they have in the Avengers for humor-wise, but it's still very humorous and you enjoy yourself throughout of it. Then we get to the problems that mostly all the Marvel movies have, is the villain. The villain is boring. Marvel! Come here! do a better job with your villains. They're boring. We got Mads Mikkelsen as the villain. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. It's the guy from Casino Royale. Played the villain in that movie too. Anyway, he's the villain in this, and he's just typical. Oh, I'm evil. Well, he's not. They try to go. Well, he doesn't think he's evil, but I don't know. When you look like that, I mean, what do you think? You think you're on the good guy side? I guess. I don't know. I mean, he's boring. Put him alongside Rowan, Whiplash, the guy in Iron Man 3 who was... Iron Man 3 still sucks, by the way. They're boring. They're boring villains, and they still need to work on that. I think they especially for their first movies, they think, okay, we need to just set up the heroes so the villains are more of a side thing, because we have to focus a lot on the hero's journey. But, I don't know, I think you can really work alongside of making a hero's and villain's journey parallel. That's always when it's good. So yeah, that's a con. We got Rachel McAdams as a sort of love interest, but not fully, kind of like the way Pepper Potts was in the first Iron Man, where, there's an attraction there, but there's nothing really said. They're not boyfriend-girlfriend by the end of the film or anything like that. But she plays it well. She's not in the movie a whole lot, so I don't really have any feelings of her character one way or another. She's a lot like Natalie Portman in the first Thor movie. She just, whatever, take her or leave her, don't matter. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Mordo, and I don't want to say he's trying too hard, because I don't want to say that for an actor at all, but he's trying to pull this off in a more dramatic style rather than in a little bit of a actiony style. I don't know. It seems like he's a little too serious, but that's a nitpick. That's not a thing. I still thought his character was fine, but if you're a fan of the comics, you know that he's just going to be a villain later. So it's a lot like Sinestro in the first Green Lantern movie, and I think it's handled about the same. Like, a lot of people say, no, it's like that, but it's better. Honestly, I don't see any difference. Like, he has a moment that makes him want to turn, and that you see that he feels betrayed and abandoned. I guess that's an up over the Sinestro side on the Green Lantern movie. But still, it feels like it's such a dramatic thing for him to go from this extreme to the other extreme. They don't show the darkness within, sort of thing. Anyway, what this movie really stands out and makes itself apart is its action scenes, because using magic, they really change the whole world. It's like Inception mixed with a kaleidoscope, really. That's how it is, and it's so interesting in that respect. The whole world is changing around them, folding in on itself, folding up, folding down, folding left, folding right, and they're running, and they're trying to get through this thing, and it's like, ah! But I think in the end, I can kind of, like, take or leave Doctor Strange. Like, if I didn't pick this up on DVD, I wouldn't be like, oh man, I'm really missing that. I think it might have to do with part of the fact that I've never been a Doctor Strange fan. Magic characters in general are very boring to me. And I do like that Benedict Cumberbatch made this character likable to me, and I did enjoy it, and I thought he was fun. But it wasn't anything to make me love the character now, and I gotta see what they do with this in comics now, because this is so much fun. Like, I don't know, Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy. I admit, I bought a couple of Guardians of the Galaxy's book after watching the movie. Now, you might think I'm a little hard on this one, but I think it's pretty much just a paint-by-the-numbers Marvel movie. It's good, it's not great. The really exceptional Marvel movies go to the next level. They bring in more interesting ideas and stuff. And I felt like there's a lot of times, like, there's one scene in particular that I was more confused by, and then it didn't really go anywhere. I'm like, well, why even include this in at all? I'll talk about it in my spoiler review. And in fact, I might get to that spoiler review, or part of the review, pretty quickly, because there's not a lot I have to say about this movie. If you like the Marvel movies like I do, you'll enjoy it. But I'm not sure, I don't think it's going to be anybody's favorite. I think the acting is well done. The characters are mostly good. I really like Tilda Swinton and Benedict Cumberbatch. They're the two standouts in this film for me. And I think that overall, it's a thing that the only thing that I think really separates it apart is the fight scenes and that ending. Because that ending was great. I will admit that. That has probably one of the best endings in the Marvel movies on how... Because I should have saw that coming, but I didn't. I thought they were going a different angle with how they were going to defeat the bad guy. And when they did that, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's cool. That's really cool. Oh, man, that's really cool. I'll talk about that in the spoiler part of the review. So, overall, I recommend this film. I think it's good. Nothing amazing, nothing spectacular, really. It just is pretty by the bar when it comes to Marvel movies. It's not below the bar like Iron Man 3, but it's not way above the bar like Captain America Winter Soldier. So I am giving Doctor Strange a 7 out of 10. As I say, there's nothing a lot I really need to say about this movie in regular tones because I think it's good, but nothing that blows me away. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I like Tilda Swinton. I think she's fun. The effects are really good. The story is pretty straightforward, and the ending is probably one of the best, but everything else is pretty typical. I enjoyed myself. I'll see it again. I'll get it on DVD. But it's not one that I'm going to be recommending to everybody and say, oh, you have to see, you have to see. If you're a fan of superheroes in the Marvel franchise and everything, this is a good one to see. But if not, then take it or leave it. Now to the spoiler part of the review. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen this movie, get out of here, watch the movie, then you can come back to this part. I think that the thing that I really love about the ending is that how it's like, it's a way where the hero's winning, but he has to sacrifice a lot in order to win. You know, he has to get killed over and over and over again and feel that pain and do stuff. I wish they went a little bit farther with it. I wish we didn't know, I wish we found out how long he was actually in that loop. Because they only showed it enough that it was like, was he there a month? Maybe like 3 days? I don't know. But if they showed it over and over and over again, it could have been like, he's been at this for like 5 years. 5 years of just doing this, walking up to Dormammu saying, Dormammu, I have a bargain. Dormammu, I have a bargain. Dormammu, I have a bargain. And I actually think that would be really cool because then you could have it why he knows more about magic than almost anybody in the next films. Because you could have him, he's just practicing his magic spells on Dormammu, and if he's been there long enough, he's trying to attack him, and if he's been there long enough, his spells would get stronger and stronger, and that's why, you know, he's a Sorcerer Supreme sort of thing. I think that would have been interesting, but they don't really say how long, and from what it seems, it doesn't seem like it was too long. Maybe like a few days at max, which is a little like, oh, that sucks. But overall, I think that the ending is still really good. One thing is, like, they talk about how, oh, you don't want to get stuck in the mirror dimension without these little things that you can put on your fingers to cause a portal. You don't want to be stuck in the mirror dimension there. Then I'm like, well, then why don't you just carry one at all times? I mean, seriously. They hand out like a bunch of them at the beginning to all these students. Like, okay, everyone take one and try to create a portal. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you have like 5 in your pocket just in case you got lost in the mirror dimension? Because there's that whole fight scene where they're fighting the bad guys and there's only a few of those portal things left. And so I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's only they steal the bad guys, and so the bad guys are chasing them. Like, they wouldn't have spares. How dumb would you be to be working in a world of wizards and whatnot and only have one of them? Only have one of your members have one. No, I don't think so. And also, the scene where Doctor Strange and the bad guy, I forget his character, what was it? Calicus, where they were fighting and then talking. They talked for way too long. Way too long. I'm like, come on, just take him through the portal and go into your... go through the portal and go and take him to the Ancient One. You caught him. Why are you still talking? I'm like, yeah, Doctor Strange shouldn't have fallen for that. I think the scene that I was talking about that didn't really make sense to me is Doctor Strange says, I'm a doctor, I don't kill people. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're going with that for the superhero route. But then at the end, he just says to Dormammu, take your disciples and go. And so then Dormammu just, kills them? Turns them into stone? Whatever he did, I'm just like, well, okay, you basically killed them. What happened to I don't kill things or whatnot? I don't know. To me, I was just like, oh, come on. That not killing is Superman's rule. It's Batman's thing. It's a lot of superheroes thing, but I don't really think that's a Doctor Strange thing. But anyway, that's about all I have to say. If you've liked this movie, tell me what you think about it in the comments below. If you didn't like it, then tell me why. And if you agree with me or don't agree with me, whatever, I just want to hear the discussion. I'll probably argue with you. Either way, that's just what I do. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm lazer99. Adios.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.